today's show.
We start breaking down the Celtics-Pacers first-round series and debate who will snag that final East playoff spot.
In Crossfire, should KD or Paul George make All-NBA first team? Which Game of Thrones character would be the best basketball player?
And we show a little love to our favorite role players.
It's Tuesday, April 9th. The starter starts now.
Good evening, Sweet World, and welcome to The Starters, presented by Jack Daniel's Old No. 7 and Tennessee Honey. I'm J.E. Skeets, alongside me, as always, Tass Mellis. We got the Aussie, Lee Ellis. And over yonder, that's the bearded one, that's Trey Kirby.
Hey-yo!
Hey-yo! Trey, what's up?
I'm here at the internet looking for your best tweets at hashtag The Starters. And guys, the Miami Heat might not make the playoffs, so tonight could very well be Dwayne Wade's last game in Miami. Wade won 3 titles with the Heat. He made 13 All-Star games, 8 All-NBA teams. He's had at least 5 different nicknames during his time in Miami. He is a lock as the best Heat player ever. And I'm guessing they've already started building his statue, which will surely be him standing on a table. But all of that brings us to today's question. What is your favorite Dwayne Wade moment? And I'm going niche with mine. I once saw a picture of Dwayne Wade and his wife Gabrielle Union on Instagram, which was cool, but then you look a little bit closer and what? They're watching the Starters in their party bus on date night? What a major moment for Dwayne Wade. I guess his basketball moments were cool too, but we want to hear from you. So let us know about those basketball moments at hashtag The Starters. Let us know your favorite Dwayne Wade moment if you've ever seen your own TV show in the background of one of his pictures.
Get your tweets in. Get your tweets
Paul
in.
Pierce
We got
is
a
better.
fun show tonight. Oh, don't get us started on that. All right, we got a fun show here. We got Tass and Trey stepping into the crossfire. We're going to talk about our favorite role players this season, and we have not 1, not 2, but 3 wedgies to show you from the weekend. We are inching our way to 50, but let's start with a little what you got tonight. Trey is going to hit us with a few questions, so he's going to throw them at us. We'll ultimately pick an answer, debate it, but you got to be careful. There's only one correct response. That's whatever TK says it is. Trey.
There are just 2 nights left in the regular season, but we've only got one postseason matchup locked in as the Celtics beat the Pacers on Friday, guaranteeing that Boston will host Indiana in the first round of the playoffs. The C's won the season series 3-1, but that means nothing, guys. What's your first round series prediction? Celtics or Pacers? What you got?
Oh, we're starting early here.
Yeah, I don't think that you can pick the Pacers in this. I don't think it's going to be easy for the Boston Celtics, but I find it hard to pick against them. Those 2 wins that they had in the last week against the Pacers, they won twice within a week. Those matter. The confidence going into the postseason, I think the Celtics are their most confident now that they've got home court in this matchup, is important because they're 7-1 against the other top 4 teams in the Eastern Conference at home this season. Bunch of confidence. You get a new Gordon Hayward who's balling recently. Kyrie Irving is living for this moment. There's too much going for the Celtics to pick the Pacers.
The Pacers have to get a split in that first couple of games in Boston if they're to have any chance. If they can play from in front, then I think they're a chance because we know that what we've seen from Boston this season, they can implode a little bit if they're behind. And if they drop that first game, maybe there's a little bit of tension starts in that locker room. Maybe they start pointing the fingers at each other. But if they get out to a good start, the Celtics, if they win both those first 2 games, it's very, very difficult to see how the Pacers can sort of reel that in. I think as well, they'll try to slow it down, grind out that series a little bit. I just don't think they have the manpower to really be able to take over Boston. They'll beat them 4 times. I think they can extend this series to 5 or 6 games, but ultimately Boston's too deep, too much talent. And again, we've seen Indiana really be resilient since Victor Oladipo went down.
The Pacers want us to do exactly what we're doing right now.
Write them
to
off.
say, there's no chance. Hey, great season, didn't have Oladipo. You guys put up one heck of a fight. McMillan, you're going to get some Coach of the Year and all that. They want us to completely write them off. And a lot of people are going to be picking the Celtics, myself included, because it does come down to that. The Pacers just have a lack of star power when you compare it to the Celtics. And you said, like, the 2 big difference makers, you got Kyrie. He's going to do Kyrie things in the playoff series. I get that, but you said it, Tass. Gordon Hayward playing the best ball of his season right now. He's rolling. He's a difference maker. He's an X factor, whatever you want to call him. And then Al Horford, who's always a rock, but in the games we've seen against the Pacers does cause some of their bigs on the Pacers some matchup nightmares because he can step out and actually shoot and is very comfortable doing that. So he's pulling those guys away from the rim a little bit. So I ultimately take the Celtics, but again, the Pacers want us to say this, to say, okay, write us off, and we've proven you wrong all season. You keep saying we're going to fall off, we're going to fall off, we're going to fall off. And here they are as the 5th seed. It's pretty impressive.
I see those 2 victories by Boston recently kind of similar to what the Warriors did to the Nuggets. Like, they saw they were a threat and they really wanted to send a message and say...
Well, one game, though, was a 2-point game
Right, sure,
where
but-
Kyrie took over
yeah.
and then they blew him out.
The second game, though, really was when the Celtics were like, hey, listen, we know we're going to face you guys. We're just going to send you a little message of how serious we're taking it right now. So I think that's what Boston was trying to do. So Indiana at least knows, like, what to expect going in. So if they can make the right adjustments, and again, I think those first 2 games are crucial for this series, then Indiana's a chance. But if they don't get one of those, it's very hard to see them extending the series too far.
But their strong suit is their defense, and they don't really have a good matchup for Kyrie Irving. Kyrie can slice them and dice them. And I don't know how much we should make of Gordon Hayward's last 7 games where he's shooting 60% and scoring 16 points per game. But if you look at it that way and you say, hey, they just added another All-Star. Yeah. All of a sudden, he's definitely playing his best basketball.
He looks a little more explosive. Obviously, the shots there, yeah.
It's scary for them, that entire roster. They've got too many weapons right now.
Trey, what is the answer? Celtics or Pacers? Where are you leaning right now?
The Pacers want us to pick the Celtics, so I'm picking the Celtics. It's time to flip that switch, but moving on. Took 4 years and countless zings, but the Nets are back in the playoffs as a win on Sunday clinched a postseason berth and a 500 record for Brooklyn's finest. That's really cool. But a win on Sunday also clinched a playoff spot for the Magic, who haven't been to the postseason since 2012, haven't been 500 or better since 2011. Guys, who is the more dangerous opponent, the Nets or the Magic? What you got?
Oh, this is tough.
Yeah,
this
this
is
is
tough
really
because
tough.
we don't know the seedings with these teams yet, right? The Nets are going to be either the 6th or the 7th seed. The Magic are either going to be the 6th, 7th. There's a small possibility they're even the 8th seed. So we don't even know who they're playing, be it the Raptors or the Sixers or maybe even the Bucks in the Magic's case. But where do you lean without knowing that?
Yeah, the Nets have been in that playoff hunt longer than Orlando, really. Orlando sort of came on strong since sort of February, really, when they started playing defense. And that, I guess, is what you want to take into the playoffs, knowing that you can defend. And Steve Clifford's done a good job with that. I just think Brooklyn overall, with Russell and with Dinwiddie and Win Levert, those guys, there's a little bit more star power that maybe they can get a bit of a run on. And we've seen that in Brooklyn. That's a really fun place for them to play. They're really supporting each other, really getting behind each other. So perhaps it's them, but it's very hard to say. I don't have all that much faith in Orlando's offense compared to Brooklyn, I guess.
But the defense, you said
The
the
defense
defense
has
since
been great,
February
yeah.
1st has been the best in the league.
Yeah.
The Magic have had one of the best records since February
Yeah.
1st in the league, after the Rockets and the Bucks, and then the Magic right there. This team was 20-31 at one point, and we were like, well, there's another Magic season, and then they've turned it around. I think I lean towards the Magic just because they seem to be playing, out of those 2 teams, the best from those squads, right?
And they do have a very good home court as well, a stronger home court than the Nets, which I was surprised because I find watching the Nets in Brooklyn, like there is a little magic.
There is.
Pardon the pun, but yeah, there is. Especially when those 3 balls start raining. And they shoot the 5th most in the NBA. They hit the 5th most. And so they can steal a game or two if Mr. D'Angelo gets ice in those veins in a 4th quarter. They can steal some games.
Who are they stealing it off? That's the question. The Raptors?
Yeah. If they're stealing it from the Raptors, I wouldn't call it stealing.
I think
the Raptors
either-
like to lose basketball games in the playoffs.
Especially game 1. Yeah, either of these teams, though, could win a game or 2 in
No,
the series.
for
I don't
sure.
think either of these teams
For
actually
sure.
get waxed.
Yeah.
You're right. Maybe the Nets are going to get hot and hit a bunch of threes, and the Magic are going to rely on trying to win these games defensively. So which one do you go with? I'm going Magic ultimately here. You guys are leaning towards the Nets, it sounds like a little bit.
I'll say
I'm splitting my vote.
Yeah, I'll take the Nets. Give me the Nets.
Trey has the answer. What is it?
I'm going with the Magic. They've got a better record against 500 teams, somehow 20-9 since February 1st. Very impressive, but moving on. The 8th seed is still up for grabs as none of the Pistons, Hornets, and Heat have been able to stay hot long enough to solidify a spot. All 3 of those teams have 1 home game and 1 away game remaining on their schedule. So, guys, who's getting the last playoff spot? Is it the Pistons, Hornets, or Heat? What you got?
Oh my God.
It's Blake Griffin's knee. That's what's going to determine it, I think.
He's questionable for tonight right now.
Yeah, because they have the Grizzlies tonight and then at home, and then they have the Knicks tomorrow on the road. I think they win both those games if
Blake plays.
For sure.
Because they have dropped some pretty important games without
For
Blake
sure.
to some pretty subpar competition.
And I think the Pistons know that, obviously they have to win these games, and that rules out any other equation for their status. They're in if they win these
they're in.
games. So I think they want to get him out there and play. And even if he carries a bit of an injury into the playoffs, you'd rather be in the playoffs than perhaps on the outside looking in. So I say it's the Pistons, but it's specifically Blake's knee.
Okay.
Yeah, they control their own destiny. As you said, Blake Griffin's played in 74 games this season, which is his highest in 5 years. It would be a shame if he played this incredible. Some people say we're watching the best Blake. I say nay. I'd rather have Duncan Blake, even though his true shooting percentage is better now that he's shooting 3-pointers. But Blake has turned it around. He has bounced back. And Charlotte's Kemba Walker might be the guy who could steal a game or two in the postseason, like we're just talking about the Magic.
And the Hornets are the
Nets.
hottest team of this bunch right now.
Yeah. But it's Blake time, I guess.
The Hornets were squashed on this desk only a week or two ago.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, Blake's injury, killed them.
Yeah.
Killed them like a hornet. If he wasn't out those games,
They
then
wouldn't be in this position.
Yeah, they wouldn't.
Again, we don't know if Blake is actually going to play in this game tonight against the Grizzlies, but here's who the Grizzlies are not playing with. Mike Conley, Jaren Jackson, CJ Miles, Joakim Noah, Jonas Valanciunas, Avery Bradley, and Kyle Anderson. Blake Griffin or not, whether he's in there.
Just getting it in our ear, Blake Griffin is playing
Okay,
tonight.
well then they definitely
Breaking
should win.
news.
They should have won without him some of these games.
They need.
But that's
They could be in tonight if the Hornets lose to the Cavs and
And the Pistons win, of course.
exactly. And you never know. The Hornets could definitely lose to the Cleveland Cavaliers.
What's the answer here, Trey?
You can't trust the Pistons.
Yeah.
The Heat already let me down.
yeah.
Elimination. The Hornets? Who knows?
Honestly,
We'll revive them from the desk.
Honestly, it's in play. It's in play. Especially if the Pistons go 1-1 and the Hornets go 1-1. Well, the Pistons would have them, I think, with a tiebreaker. Oh, what a mess. When we come back, though, Tess and Trey step into the crossfire. Don't go anywhere.
The Starters is presented by Jack Daniel's Old No. 7 and Tennessee Honey.
Welcome to Crossfire. Here's how it works. I'll give these two guys 3 questions, and at the end of it all, I will declare a winner. Here we go. Question 1. Award season is approaching, and on last Friday's Drop podcast, we selected our All-NBA teams. We were largely in agreement, except for one of the forward spots. It was split between Paul George and Kevin Durant. So, guys, Paul George or Kevin Durant, what you got?
Paul George has had the better season. He's scored more than Kevin Durant, 28 points per game. He's rebounded more than Kevin Durant at 8 rebounds per game. And for all this slump talk, well, he still has a higher three-point percentage than Kevin Durant. This award, or this honor, is about one single season, not the better player. It's been Paul George this year.
Paul George has definitely been as good as Kevin Durant this year, and that's why people are voting him to the first team, because he finally got to Kevin Durant's level. You mentioned it, the numbers are pretty similar. KD has a tiny lead in PER and true shooting percentage. I don't care about that three-point percentage test. Kevin Durant has been the most consistently there player for the Golden State Warriors. He's only missed 3 games. He is better than Paul George. Everybody's taking KD over Paul George in a draft. I'm putting him on my first team All-NBA.
He is great, and he's leaving Golden State. I don't know why I said that.
Oh, breaking news here from Taz. All right, question 2. We had a very strong rookie class this season, several of the top picks producing at a high level. This was our first team all-rookie selections as well. We agreed on 4 spots. But which player gets your final first team all-rookie spot? Here we go.
Well, Lee, I'm going with the controversial Colin Sexton, because if you look at some numbers, VORP, win shares, he's one of the worst players in the league. Well, newsflash, I haven't taken a math class since high school, and I'm not starting now. He is 3rd in scoring. I can count to points. He had a disastrous start, no doubt. His own team said maybe he can't play in the NBA. Since then, 23-3 on 42% shooting from 3 since the All-Star break. Colin Sexton.
Give me some VORP news, Taz.
VORP it up!
VORP! What a word. Marvin Bagley of the Sacramento Kings is my pick, because he's had to fight through inconsistent minutes, and he's had to navigate coming off a bench.
And he's been hurt.
And he has been hurt. Still, he's maintained 5th in rookie scoring, 3rd in rookie rebounding, while being 10th in rookie minutes. Plus, he plays on a better team.
Taz, we need his VORP.
This
We
isn't
need
a
his
baseball program. No more VORP talk.
Oh, man, I don't know what to do. This is a very tight race. All right, question 3. The Minnesota Timberwolves are just as excited as we all are for the final season of Game of Thrones.
Oh, you can't wait.
Oh, I cannot wait. This is going to be incredible. Going along with that theme, which Game of Thrones character, I don't know any of them, by the way, would make the best NBA player? Here we go.
Give me Jaime Lannister. Yes, he has only one hand. His left hand. It's like James Harden. Try and stop Jaime Lannister. Try and make him go right. Well, you can't. It's impossible to stop left-handed guys. Well, how's he going to do it? Also, because he's a great swordsman. Maybe the best swordsman in the kingdom. That means he's got great feet work. Also, incest.
Well, I mean, that is a pretty good argument, but I'm going with Melisandre for 3 reasons. Number 1, she worships the Lord of Light, so you know she's ready to catch on fire. Number 2, she's gone from leader to leader to leader. She can play in any system. Number 3, she wears that beautiful necklace, keeps her young forever. She will have to play on a red team. I say she takes Dwayne Wade's spot with the Miami Heat. It's a perfect fit.
I have no idea what either of those two just said. So, Trey, you can have the belt this week.
Must have had a great vorp.
TK wins.
I'm the King Slayer.
Coming up next, we discuss our favorite role players and Giannis turning down a role in Space Jam 2. Don't go anywhere. Yeah, what's Bronze Vorp? Back with the starters, time for some fill-in-blank fun. Trey.
Over at ESPN, our buddy Zach Lowe dropped his 8th annual Luke Walton All-Stars team, basically a celebration of some of the league's most slept-on role players. This year's edition includes Joakim Noah, Jared Dudley, Kenneth Reed, and a bunch more, but I want to hear from y'all. Fill in the blank. Your favorite role player is blank.
I'm going with Noah, Joakim Noah, because he was out of the league and we thought maybe he wouldn't even get back in there after things didn't really work out in New York. And in that article yesterday that Zach wrote, he said in Joakim Noah's first practice, he dunked on Jaren Jackson and started screaming and the coaches were like, just relax, Joakim. So even though we know he's not the same player he was a few years ago when he finished 4th in MVP voting, I think he still extended his career by showing that he can still do a lot of the things that he did, bring that intensity, that hustle, that professionalism, and still be an effective player.
Give me Danny Green of the Toronto Raptors. Maybe he's too good
Yeah,
for this
he's a
list.
role
I don't-
player?
Yeah, 10 points per game. The guy is absolute money from three-point land. I don't think he's missed a last-minute 3 this year. He knows his game as well. 10 points per game, but 70% of his shots are three-pointers. And when he's off the court, the team drops off drastically because he does the threeing and he does the D'ing oh so well. He's that good.
It's a good one. I like my role players to look like they have 3 kids and a dog and drive a minivan, which is why I'm going with Jared Dudley. He was also, for the 3rd time, on Zach Lowe's list, and rightfully so, because he's only giving you like 5 points per game, but when he's out there, he generally makes a positive impact. You know, he's an unselfish player. He can hit a 3-2. He was on fire in March from downtown, and he's the ultimate locker room leader guy. Like, there's no doubt these younger guys on this Nets team like him. He probably could be a coach. He maybe gets into TV after all of this, but he's the perfect role player.
I bet you he gets a bump in minutes in the playoffs too.
Yeah, he probably will, because you can trust him out
Yeah,
there in tight
for sure.
situations. All right, Trey, what's our next one?
All right, pretty fun article over at The Athletic where their crew of NBA reporters pulled 127 players on a variety of questions ranging from most valuable player to which coach they wouldn't want to play for. Pulling you 3 guys and asking y'all to fill in the blank. The most surprising result from The Athletic survey is blank.
I'm going to go with the MVP poll, and not that Harden won it with 44% of the vote, just over Giannis. I was actually more surprised and more shocked that a good 15% of players, that anonymous guys that were in this poll, they voted for someone besides Harden or Giannis, which is like confusing to me. It's a little crazy not picking from Harden or Giannis and getting votes to Paul George and Embiid and Kyrie and Damian Lillard and Kawhi. I mean, I don't know. I think that's a bit of a stretch. I get it. Maybe you're going to bat for some of your guys here and there, but it's got to be either Harden or it has to be Giannis this year. I think we can all agree on that, whatever one you go with. So I guess I'll go with that.
I wonder when they got polled, because I'm very confused by my answer. 125 guys were asked, you're starting a franchise, who are you signing first? 9 or 10 of them picked LeBron James. Okay, he might be the best player in the game, maybe, now, this year, next year, sure. But starting a franchise with, aren't you thinking about the future?
Yeah,
they just care
somebody
about...
voted for Shaquille Harrison in that poll, too. I saw.
Some guys...
They thought it was Shaquille O'Neal.
Some guys are definitely voting for their bud. Some guys are messing around. But the answer should be Giannis, 90%. I mean, a high number at the very least. I'm just a little confused.
I'm going with the guys who are equal second in the most overrated poll, and it was the Towns, Butler, Wiggins trio from, at one stage, Minnesota. This year. I wonder if this was just like everyone just got so sick of the drama this year, they just said, you know what, they're all overrated, who cares? Or if it was just individually, it was like, I think this guy, and this guy, and then just mathematically it worked out like this, that they were all tied for it, because that was just a weird start to the season, and it came out, no one looked good coming out of it. So
I think some of the guys were polled at the beginning of the season. That's what happened.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah,
it's possible.
So do you think then that people said like all 3 of these guys?
I don't know.
Yeah.
We know people.
We know
at The
people at
Athletic.
The
We can ask
Athletic,
them.
yeah.
All right, final one here, Trey.
Yeah, we know people at The Athletic. No big
Name
deal.
drops.
I'm behind the paywall.
Space Jam 2 starts filming this summer, but one player you won't see balling with LeBron and Bugs is the Bucks' Giannis Antetokounmpo. Because according to ESPN's Malika Andrews, Giannis turned down a role in the sequel because he didn't want to skip his private workouts this summer. Giannis says he doesn't like being in Hollywood, but guys, fill in the blank. A movie you want to see Giannis in is blank.
I went with RoboCop because I think RoboCop, that franchise, needs to spice it up a little.
Right.
And I think the old RoboCop was a bit too typical, just small, middle-aged guy. Let's get Giannis out there, big, intimidating.
You want him to be RoboCop?
Yeah, exactly. I think it'd be great. He's got the great voice. I think he's got the stature, the pose.
Yeah,
I think
sure.
he's got everything. So,
You don't watch Game of Thrones, but you're big up on RoboCop.
RoboCop was great.
Yeah, I knew you were going to say that. I went with the Avengers. Just put him in the Avengers. Make Giannis. He's already a superhero. Have him dunking on Thanos or in Endgame. I don't care. It doesn't matter. Put him in any one of these millions of superhero movies. Give him his own role. He'd kill it.
I went with My Big Fat Greek Wedding. It would be
yeah,
perfect. His 3 brothers would be hilarious. His mom seems like a lovely woman, and it's time for Giannis to settle down and get married.
And we've had 2, right?
Yes, we have.
Yeah, so this will be the 3rd one. It would work well. You said 3 brothers?
3 brothers.
Maybe they all get married in the movie.
Wow!
We're writing it tonight.
They gotta be able to get Joey Fatone back? Because if so, I'm in.
Is he available?
All right, when we come back, we got some wedgies to show you. What time is it?
Crunch time! Woo-hoo!
Tonight, 9 p.m. Eastern on NBA TV. Crunch time, catching all the great endings to tonight's very, very, very busy NBA schedule. All right, we asked you, what's your favorite D-Wade moment? You hit us up on Twitter, hashtag the starters. You got some answers.
Yeah, speaking of crunch time, a lot of Dwayne Wade crunch time moments, like his buzzer beater against the Bulls, which of course he finished up by standing on the scoring table. Speaking of the scorer's table, how about this game winner, where Dwayne Wade also stands on the scorer's table from this year? Will he do it again tonight? Only time will tell, but another great answer. The iconic recreation of his LeBron dunk at the All-Star game this year. Good answer, guys.
Good stuff. We had some wedgies there, Tess.
They come in bunches. We had 3 this weekend, starting with Trae Young, a little lefty scoop.
Beautiful
one.
wedgie. Yeah.
That almost looks on purpose.
Yeah.
Number 38 right there. Kawhi Leonard trying to tie the game right before the buzzer buries a wedgie. Will that one be a Wedgie of the Year nominee on the Starties Thursday? We shall see. And Aaron Gordon, number 40.
All right.
Or your traditional wedgie.
Great
That's a
variety
classic.
right
Good
there.
weekend. Good weekend.
The big 4-0. We have hit it.
10 to go. We count the playoffs, indeed. All right, you said it there, the Starties. It's on Thursday, April 11th at 6 p.m. Eastern, once again hosted by Kristen Ledlow. It's the 6th annual Starters Award Show. Can't wait for that. All right, guys, thanks so much for joining us tonight. We'll see you tomorrow, 6 p.m. Eastern.
Spoiler alert, Kawhi, Wedgie of the Year nominee.
Brace the night, people.